The Weddings by Annabel podcast. This is the whys, not just the whats, behind weddings. Based in the UK's Cumbria and the Lake District, me and others invite you to join a conversation about the highs and lows, the delights and the concerns faced by anyone planning a wedding. Hello and welcome to another episode. This time I'm going to be talking about some of the very, very many wedding traditions out there. We all come across them all the time. We've heard of millions of them, and I thought I'd just kind of dig into where some of them have come from, my thoughts on them, and yes. I can do another episode like this because there's absolutely tons. I've just handpicked some ones that I found interesting because at most of the weddings that I've been involved with, these kind of feature. My stance on traditions, just before we get going, is that you can stick to them, you can adapt them, you can ignore them. I think they've been built around beliefs and superstitions and also just some nice ideas too. I don't think that means that you have to stick to them. I think some of them are absolutely adorable. I think some of them also make a day flow better and give a good excuse for some memory making, which if you've been listening to the rest of my podcast, you'll know is one of my key factors. So yeah, do as you wish. So the first one is cutting the cake. This happens at, I would say, only about half, maybe less, of the weddings that I've coordinated in the last couple of years. Just because people don't really understand why they're doing it, hence why it's the first one I put down on my list. So apparently back in the Roman times, they would break a loaf of bread over the bride to wish her fertility. I've never seen anything being broken over the bride's head, especially not bread or a cake. And I'm not sure that anybody I know would want that to happen, especially when you've paid a lot of money for a delicious cake. I still think if you're going to cut the cake, then integrate it into the flow of the day. So have it as you come in to take a seat, then take a moment, or as you go onto the dance floor, do that bit first. Whenever you're going to serve the cake, because let's hope you're going to eat it all right, try and do the cake cutting so it blends with everything else. I've seen it done with swords. I've had people grab a handful and smush it into their faces. However you do it, make it a nice gesture and make sure not everybody needs to have a photo of it, but at least your photographer. Okay, next one. Your rings. So the band itself is supposed to represent longevity, and the reason why apparently you have it on your left hand on your fourth finger is because it was thought that there was a vein in that part of your hand that ran straight to your heart. Isn't that adorable? Again, this tradition, I'm currently sat here looking at my wedding rings and they are in that position. I can't see why I'd ever change it. Some people don't get rings at all. My husband has changed to a plastic ring because he does a lot of woodworking, and having a metal ring can cause a lot of problems. So understandable. He hasn't got rid of his wedding ring, by the way. But yeah, these days you can get them made out of anything. You can get wooden ones, you can have them inset with all kinds of different things. The choice is yours, really. Next one I looked into was having a white dress. Now, apparently, before Queen Victoria got married in 1840, you just wore your best dress. But it was her that kind of broke the mould, and she wore a white satin dress with lace details. And it stuck from there. I think as well, the other suggestion is that it came from wishing to look very what's the right term? To look inexperienced and clean, and yeah, I think you get the gist. Another one, bouquets. So this was fascinating to look into. Did you know that the first bouquets in the Middle Ages were to actually get rid of body odour? This was the era of the plague, and, hygiene was not at its best. If it was particularly a problem, even the bouquet might have garlic and herbs in it. Now, that's an interesting mix to bring into a wedding, right? I wouldn't recommend it. Eventually, though, the bouquet became a symbol of new beginnings, of happiness and fertility, which is a lot nicer than just trying to get rid of body odour, I would think. Now, here's another one that really intrigued me. Why do we call it the wedding breakfast when most of the time it's not at breakfast time, is it? Most of the time it can be, from any time from 3 o'clock and later? That's not breakfast, unless you're a student, then maybe. The tradition of having it called the wedding breakfast is because, yes, it is the first meal that they're having together, but also when this was based in religious ceremonies, the couple would they would fast before the wedding. So having this meal was them breaking their fast. Break fast. See? So yeah, I found that fascinating. Now, here's another one. Favours. Now, these days are so varied and range from anything from a personalised letter to a miniature bottle of booze to a tiny tub of jam to a chocolate to some fudge to you name it. I've seen all types of different variations in this. So I wanted to know what on earth. So apparently the tradition of giving a gift to each guest has been around for hundreds of years. It evolved to be that the most traditional format was 5 sugared almonds, and each one was to represent something that the couple wished for their guests. So this would be health, wealth, fertility, happiness, and a long life. I don't know if you represent that with a miniature bottle of JD, if I'm honest, but it's a nice sentiment. If you have the budget to give them all a gift, go for it. If there's something specific that you make and that you are known for, go for it. If you feel like you should, don't do it. I think this should be a very personal choice, and for me, the more personalised or the more it aids the banter around the table, make it so it's an interaction point, then great. Okay, another thing is first dance. Now, for somebody who coordinates weddings and it's all about atmosphere and flow, the first dance for me is brilliant because it's like the excuse to get everybody onto the dance floor. It is the nod that you can now crack on and get your groove on. Without a first dance, depending on the crowd and the music, it can be quite difficult. It reminds me of being at school discos and, people standing around the sides until one person dared get on the dance floor and then everybody went on. So first dance, apparently this came back to when having exclusive parties and balls was the thing, which, wouldn't that be great to bring back? The guest of honour would lead. So obviously at a wedding, the guests of honour, bride and groom, groom, bride and bride, whoever it is, they will lead, right? So yeah, it's a good tradition because it works out in my favour when coordinating a wedding. Then the final one, so this is 8 now out of so many, but why does one person, and the tradition is if it's a bride and groom, then the groom would stand on the left-hand side. This apparently is so that he still had his right hand free to use his sword to protect his bride. How mad's that? And I'll admit, when it comes to this tradition, I'm not really fussed. I had a bride who had a best side. It might be down to the lighting. If it's only coming in one direction, then they might both stand off to one side. Whatever works best for you. At the end of the day, you both need to be stood there facing whoever is the, performing the ceremony. I'm not one to have to stick to the tradition. And hopefully you will not need to use a sword. So that works out, doesn't it? Interesting. Did you know that one of the German traditions, and they have quite a few, is that the couple saw a log together. Saw as in wooden, a saw with metal teeth. They have to chop a slice of wood together, and it's meant to represent the overcoming of obstacles, difficult obstacles together. I've never done this, but bring it on. I'm fascinated by any quirky traditions that involve some really nice kind of interactions, makes for a great memory, great photo. The guests will blimmin' love it. Bride and groom, I can imagine for that one, get quite sweaty. But what a laugh. I've come across so many nice traditions. One that seems to be making its way more prevalent at the minute, I think, is first look. So a lot of my American clients would traditionally have a first look. This is where the couple see each other before the ceremony. Just them two, nobody else, maybe a photographer. And they see each other in all their finery so that actually walking down the aisle isn't the first moment. I really like this for certain couples where I know that their nerves about the ceremony part are getting a bit too heightened. And if we can kind of ease the pressure off that moment, then a first look is absolutely lovely for it. I think it's also a really nice emotional touch. It's a nice thing to experience as a couple together instead of it just being in this kind of really, wonderful but quite intense moment where everybody's looking for reactions off you each and you're not really taking it all in. So yeah, I love that tradition kind of becoming more popular. I did notice through looking at a lot through these traditions as well that a lot of them are about warding off evil spirits, which, I don't know where I stand in the belief of this, but I quite like that it's a quirky one to put in there. Apparently that's why you have matching bridesmaids, is so that the evil spirits get confused as to which one is the bride. Quite bizarre, really. Apparently, why you'd carry your partner over the threshold is because there might be evil spirits below. I don't know who comes up with these. That's fascinating, but again, it's led to a really nice tradition. And apparently, as well, the whole bouquets smelling nicely was that the nice smells would get rid of, ward off evil spirits as well. So who knows, if you adapt all of these, if you want to actually take them all on board, no evil spirits, all good vibes, lovely atmosphere, lovely memories. So traditions can be very helpful, right? I think we will do another episode like this and we'll throw another 8 wedding traditions in there and just highlight why on earth these happen. If you've got some that you would like to fire through, or you want to question a tradition, get in touch, info@weddingsbyannabel.co.uk, or find us on social media at Weddings by Annabel, and let's investigate some more and see where we get up to. Maybe we do a whole one just on the traditions from around the world, because some of those are very quirky. Oh, that's me, and thanks for listening. Follow for more, and we'll see you next time. If you would like some further advice or help, or more information on Weddings by Annabel, or would like to be involved in the podcast, then email us via the website weddingsbyannabel.co.uk, or find us on Instagram, Facebook or LinkedIn. Okay, bye.